God didn't approve it from the beginning. It was just meant to be temporary instead of being permanent. And what God is trying to do is to bring you out from that temporary situation into a permanent situation. But you're holding on to it. You're kind of like, this relationship, I cherish it so much. I like it. I don't even know what I'm going to do without it and all that. But God sees ahead of you. He knows that that relationship is not going anywhere. That it's meant for temporary situation. So that's when you see God tries his best to bring you out from there, to open your eyes, for you to know that this is meant to be temporary. I didn't choose it for you. That's when you see he'll start frustrating your plans. He'll start frustrating you in that marriage, in that relationship, just to get you out from it, because he knows the best for you. In Romans chapter 8, verse 28, it says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. So everything works in purpose of God, even that bad relationship, even that person that have decided to leave that relationship, everything is still working for good. So what is toxic relationship, if I may ask? What do you want to?
Yeah, I think from my own understanding, a toxic relationship is when we mean toxic, we mean something that is offensive. Something offensive is can be explained as toxic. So when we say toxic relationship, we mean a relationship that is not healthy, that is sour. Let me use that word. And there are a lot of things that makes a relationship go sour. That is not uh, actually going the way it ought to go. One or two things must have led to it, being toxic. For example, you have a good food, and all of a sudden, without you doing the necessary, probably warming or freezing or whatever, at the point it goes bad, it becomes toxic to you. When you consume it, it's not healthy for your system.
Exactly.
So that is what I think a toxic relationship is. A toxic relationship is something that is not healthy for you as a person. A relationship that is not healthy for you as a person. Quote and
Yeah.
unquote, it purges you as a person. Yeah.
Yeah, something that's affecting you physically, mentally, is draining you. It
Yeah.
doesn't make you feel better. It doesn't make you feel good, because relationship, marriage is supposed to make you better. It's
That's
supposed to
right.
be a healthy thing for you. But when it's going sour, like you said, it's toxic.
Mm,
And
that's right.
there are two kinds of actions that spouses exhibit. And first is overt, and the second is subtle. When someone is overt, the person is open. The person doesn't have secrets. Like, if you offend a person, he will tell you right away. You will know. But when a
Yeah.
spouse is subtle in their action, it's just like the serpent. The person is so clever. You don't even know when they are hurting you. You don't even know their
Mm,
action. Sometimes they are being indirect, you know, and sometimes they are being so gentle, and you can't even differentiate when they are even abusing you. So that
that's
kind
right.
of spouse, you really have to dig deep to understand that this person is actually abusing you. Because there are some spouses that they are being abused and they don't even know,
I don't know.
but they are dying. Their energy is being sapped.
Yeah.
You understand? And
Very correct.
for those kind of people, it's very hard. That's why you see someone, all of a sudden, the person dies. Premature death. Then we think that, oh, God have taken the person, that was the person's time. No. Most times it's not like
Mm,
that. The person was dying gradually. He couldn't pinpoint where the problem was coming from. You understand? So those are the two
yeah.
actions that we have from spouses that are being toxic in the marriage. And we will go by identifying the signs. What do you think are the signs of toxic relationship or marriage? Like, for instance, when you're in a relationship or when you're in marriage, what are the signs that you should look out for to understand that this person is actually abusing me? You know, what are the signs? Because some women or some men, they do not even know the signs. You understand? Because a marriage or relationship can be growing in the level of toxicity and nobody knows. You understand? Okay, Emmanuel wants to come on. Let me bring him up. I think he has some few things to say. Yeah. Okay. You're welcome.
Hello.
Yeah. So we're discussing about toxic relationship and we want to identify the signs of toxic relationship or marriage. When, like, what are the signs we should look out for? Okay. Emmanuel, do you have anything to say?
Of course, there are a lot. I was listening to you and you mentioned something about overt and something about subtle. Now, talking about signs, most times, the challenge people have is sometimes they are toxic, but they don't even know about it. You understand? Yeah, that's why most times when you do some things to some people, they will tell you, when you complain, they will like, but why didn't you tell me all this while?
Mhm.
I didn't even know what I was doing was wrong, So I think the foundation of that toxicity, if there's any word like that, is a lack of knowledge, because most people are not really
Aware.
about relationships. Most are coming from a background that doesn't exhibit genuine relationship. You can't expect someone who's coming from a background that they are having a domestic abuse to have a perfect relationship without undergoing a learning process. There must be a learning process for such a person. So that's why it's really good to understand where a person is coming from. So if you understand it, you can be able to define that toxic aspect of that relationship. Whenever they are delving into that dimension, you can always call them back and say, please look at what you are doing, because you are the foundation of your ancestors now, or your family line. Not accepted, because one thing about relationship is most people are so ignorant of relationship that they delve into marriage thinking that in marriage that the person is going to change or amend their ways. But anything you see in relationship, expect it exactly or even worse in marriage. You understand? So when you talk about the signs of a toxic relationship, it's one of the greatest signs of toxic relationship is abuse. Now, abuse mustn't be a physical abuse. Physical abuse is only related to on the part of the men. Men mostly abuse physically. In other words, they can beat you, they can kick you, they can slap you, and all of that. But the most subtle one is that of women, which is, I call it manipulation. That was what Eve used in the Bible. She didn't force Adam to eat the forbidden food. Let me not say apple, because Bible did not say apple. So she subtly induced him. So that's how men manipulate a man, and before you know it, the man is down. Before you know it, the man is depressed. But when they come out in social gathering, all of them are faking it. You understand? So one thing about social media is they will put in there what they want you to see, but the real thing still lies in when they are off the media. So that is one of the signs, the two signs of the abuse, a toxic relationship that I can identify for now.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
that's true.
We talked about background. Yeah, it's very important because some people are from abusive home and then they end up in a relationship or marriage without being healed or without going through counseling and being educated, and then they bring it into the marriage. Some children from abusive home, they think that's the way of life. You understand? When you're telling them that you should not beat a woman, they actually think that beating a woman is good. Verbally abusing someone is good. So they don't even know what they're doing is wrong. And that kind of child, when they grow up, enters into a relationship or marriage, he or she's gonna be those things because that's the way the person was brought up. So thank you, Imane. That was a very, very good one. Let me see if I can bring up someone else that want to talk. Let me see. If you want to join, you please let me know. You can send me a request. Yeah. Ken, you can buttress more points on that because we have a lot of signs that people are not even aware of.
Yeah. So to add further to the point Emmanuel just spoke about, where he mentioned abuse as the final bus stop for a toxic relationship, because most of the time it always ends in abuse. Most of the time it always ends in abuse. As he was talking, I now reflected during my time in Lagos, staying in Lagos,
Mm.
how most times I go out in the evening or at night, and I see a lot of men hanging out by the beach side. Then I try to reason, why is it that this person is not at home by this time? Like a full
Mm-hmm.
grown, responsible man. Why is it that this person is not at home? Like 10:30 to 11, they are still by the beach side, you know, having fun, drinking, and all of that. So, in my conclusion, I'll be like, I think the home is not peaceful. There is something that is chasing the man away from the house. One, he said that he's trying to avoid abuse or
Oh,
to be abused himself.
sorry, Emmanuel, please you can drop so that I can bring someone up.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, are we
Okay, yeah, go
together?
on. Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about abuse, there are various forms of abuse. There are various forms of abuse. Stalking could also be an abuse. Are we in? Hello?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, stalking could also be an abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we also, you know what I mean by stalking. When you try to put put in a behavior that the other person is not liking,
Mm-hmm.
you know, something that is not legitimate. For example, you want to even give things. When you try to give someone a gift that is not well accepted, could also be a form of stalking.
Yeah.
From time to time, you just want to send the person gift. You want to bump into the person in the place where the person is working or staying or wherever. Just
Mm-hmm.
because of so much insecurity. So you're now stalking the person. Another form of abuse is sexual abuse. We have different varieties of abuse. We have economic or financial abuse. We have physical abuse, psychological abuse, various forms of abuse, and these are
Mm-hmm.
all the end products of toxic relationship. Now, how do we try to identify these things, especially in relationship before it metamorphoses into marriage?
Yeah, Emmanuel is saying that he can't hear you.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Uh, I don't
but I
know.
can hear you. I don't know why
Yeah,
he can.
I don't know. I don't know why you can't hear me. I don't know. Can you hear me now? If you can hear me, please just say you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you, but he said he's not hearing you. I
Uh,
don't know what happened. Yeah.
can you hear me now? Okay.
Okay, he's saying
All
that.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I was saying, there are different forms of abuse. Stalking, you know, psychological abuse, financial abuse. A lot of men don't
Exactly.
even know that there is something they call financial or economic abuse. When you try to deprive a woman of working or earning money, or even refusing to give the woman money, is financial abuse. And a lot of women don't know this. A lot of men don't know this.
Mm-hmm.
Financial abuse. Then we also have psychological abuse. We also have there are various forms of abuse. And
Let me
as
come
a
in here.
result,
Some of the men, they use that like to manipulate the woman, thinking that they'll tell you have to submit. Everything must be under the man. He's the one to control what you're going to be doing, how you spend money and everything. When a man is too controlling, that's also abuse.
it's an abuse, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an abuse. So I think before there's a lot of things we need to look at before we actually move in further into advancing the relationship or into marriage. Number one, ability for the partner to open up. There must be an openness from both parties. An openness, a complete openness, whereby both parties have to recognize that, oh, I think in this deal or in this relationship we are having, it's going to be operated in such manner. Let's go this way, let's try as much as possible to be as plain and sincere and open to each other. Hey,
Yeah.
Try to be open. And by being open, I think it solves like 50% of the problem of the relationship, because it helps the other partner to understand where you are going wrong or where he or she is going wrong. And I
Exactly.
think that is just an aspect of my own contribution to this for now.
Thank you very much, Ken. Okay, I will drop you so that I
Hi,
can bring up
Peter.
someone else. You can drop, please. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, bro.
Welcome.
Long time.
Good
Ken.
evening. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ken, you can drop so that I can bring up someone else. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. Frank. You're welcome. Yeah, we are talking about toxic relationship and we are here at the signs. What are the signs?
Yes, I've been on and off, but sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. One thing we have to understand is that scripturally, there's nowhere in the scripture where God gave any man any power to take the will of another man. All right. That was why even right from the beginning, after the fall, he actually gave man choice. So for humans to want to take the will of another, then you begin to see the signs of, abuse and, such like in marriages. And so any trace of taking someone's will, whether by manipulation, whether by your actions, your words, as long as you just want someone to be under, like just to take the wheel and the person to be under you, by all means, is a trace. It's a trace, and so we also need to be very, very careful and be sensitive. If God could give us a free will, I wonder why men choose to take the will of other man. It's
This is
it's
deep.
it's
This is
yes,
very deep.
yes. So
Wow.
that's my contribution.
Thank you very much. Taking the will of another. It's just like you're now a god to that person. For you to
Yes,
take the
thank you
person's
very
will.
much.
Imagine.
And I think these days, because people, we are talking on the basis of our faith, all right, so we can be able to understand this very well. Now, these days, I think people also manipulate scripture. They manipulate the scripture itself, by using, not understanding the concept of wife, be submissive to your husband. Okay, so they do it to the extreme. All right, they do it to the extreme, and so such manipulation is not according to the will of God. We all know that women are there to help and we are to love, and so when we love, they submit. When they submit, we love. It's a two-way strand, and so none should be higher than the other. All right. Even as based on scripture, you must understand that he is the head, just like Christ is the head of the church and
Exactly.
order. So we must understand the way Christ relates to the church. And so husband and wife will relate in such manner. So Christ and the church is not by coercion.
Mm-hmm.
It's true love that women tend to submit, and the church submits to Christ through love, understanding what he has done. And so the woman also understanding the place of the man. And
Mm.
so she submits, not by coercion, not by anything. So that's just my humble submit.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Wow. 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 Thank you. I love that.
Thank you.
You shouldn't coerce someone into submitting, just like you're manipulating the person. You're making the person less
Yes,
of a
many people
human.
manipulate.
Yeah. You're
True,
manipulating the person,
true,
trying to
true,
demean the person to submit to you. Like submission should be
true,
mutual. Even though the Bible
true.
said women we should submit, but it has to be mutual. You know, that
Should be
mutual
mutual.
came before even the commandment that God said women submit. So a lot of men are saying, I
That's
think is this I don't know if it's African or the worldly thing. I don't know where they got this from. Like the woman must submit in everything, and that submission they are talking about means punishment, slavery. You understand? Because
that's
that's
true.
not
And
the
you know, those
biblical way
persons
of
can never be the
submitting.
best of themselves.
Yeah.
Yes,
They might
they can never be
even
the best of
pretend
themselves.
to submit, but they're not even submitting totally. Like they are scared. Like you
They,
know how you kidnap someone, you tell the person do like this, the person will be doing it because of their life is at risk. You understand?
that's true.
So you might be coercing
That's
the
true.
person, forcing the person into slavery. Yeah, the person might do that, but that's not the person. The person is you're killing the person.
It's against their will.
Yeah,
It's
against
against
their
their will.
will. It's not biblical.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think someone is
Thank
saying
you.
something about culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone is saying something about culture. Yeah, I think culture has to also, culture also added to all these things that we're seeing. So someone is suffering, and because of what the society will say or what the parents will say, or according to their culture, they can't voice out and they keep dying silently and they don't become the best of themselves
Yeah.
in marriage when the other party is supposed to raise you up, groom you, nurture you for you to become the best of yourself, but you see yourself
Yes.
diminishing every day.
That's
I think culture also has to do with, yes.
yeah, that's true because I learned that in Indian, their culture is like the women you are the one to do everything, and then the man is just to relax at home. Like I don't know how
Yeah.
true that is, but I heard it and I was like, what? You know, I don't understand this culture of a thing. We have to really do something about it. Because that's not the way that the Bible said we should submit. And a lot of women are dying in silence, a lot of men are dying in silence. And we also say that the signs also are being, like some of the men are being self-centered. They are being domineering and controlling. And sometimes they even control the friends you keep. They tell you this one is good and that one is bad. So they're trying to sanitize you, to separate you from your family members, from your friends, so that when they attack, nobody can help you. I see that the end of the result is just death. Sometimes it's just death because they've separated you from all your friends, from all your family members that can help you out. They seclude you and then you're all alone by yourself. We have to really be careful and watch out for these signs when they start coming, because we can talk about these things. When a spouse starts misbehaving or bringing out a threat that mommy said, my daughter in India, the men work, but the women pay the bride price. That's okay. Thank you, mommy, for clearing that. Yeah, clarifying that. Yeah, so Sister Crown says, when a woman knows her worth, she will speak up. Exactly. Yes, because but the thing is, some women don't even know their worth because they think that marriage is a do or die affair. Like marriage is what defines you in the society. And going back to what you said, Sister Crown, you said culture. And I think like culture has made it that women, you don't have to speak up, you have to die in silence. You're supposed to be in your marriage, whether good or bad. Because there's a certain way the community is going to view you like you're a failure. You couldn't even keep your home. You can't even like keep a man. So you can't tidy up your home. Like that's what it means. And because of what the society will say, then they're just staying in there. They're dying. They are dying. Growing up, a lot of them they fight. Then I'm like, what's going on? This is someone that you say you truly love. So why are you fighting with this person? Why are you kicking him or her? Why are you abusing them? Some of them, they will even talk down on you in the presence of your children, in the presence of strangers, your friends, your family members. They don't even care. They don't even care. They kill your self-worth, your ego, your self-esteem is damaged. And these are the lasting effects that happens to these women. When you see them, most times they find solace in church. When you start seeing a lady or a man spending so much time in church or social media or among friends, there's a problem in the home. That's just the truth. Because if there's no problem in the home, you will be quick to rush home to spend your time with your family. No, that time we think that when you see them going to church regularly, everything, you think that, oh, these people, they love God. Sometimes that's where they find their solace. That's where they find their comfort, in the presence of God, being in church, doing activities, hanging out with friends more, hanging out with families more and all that. That's how they get their, like, they're being relieved. Because they don't even have where else to go. And okay, look at Sister Sinachi, for instance. It's so sad that Minister Sinachi just passed like that. But I feel that she was passing through a lot and then expressing them through her songs. And this is true because Cora Obidia watched her one day. She said that she's passing all those things out through her dance and music. And that is true. Some of these women or men, they don't know how to express themselves again. These men have cajoled them, they have manipulated them, brainwashed them that they can't even speak up, they have no use, their life is being threatened if they speak up. So what they have to do is, that thing that gives them joy, they express themselves through those things. And we really have to be vigilant and be our brothers' keepers, our sisters' keepers. Because a lot of things are happening. There are so many women that are dying out there. There are so many of them. This is just the little that we are hearing. So many that are still caged in that marriage, in that relationship. They can't find help. We need to help them. And I know that helping them sometimes is really difficult because you can't bring someone out from their marriage or relationship without their free will. You know, but we have to just do our best so that our conscience will be clear before God, at least that we save the soul. Because I think that constantly, if we constantly keep talking to them, or try to, by talking to them regularly, we are sanitizing their minds. You are trying to let them know that this is not okay. That a man beating you up, a man starving you, locking you up, don't even care about your well-being. It's not okay. This is not normal. This is not marriage. And there are signs that happens. Like some of them, they give us this sign in the relationship. And some of the signs are when the person is controlling, monitoring all your movements. Run. If you talk about it and the person is not changing, don't even go into marriage with that kind of person. That person will be so toxic and abusive to you. I heard about a rich man that married this beautiful lady. He has money and everything, and then the man doesn't even allow her to go out. Like, the man has so much money that he was able to pin this lady down, control her. She stays indoor 24/7. If she wants to go buy something, entourage, security must follow her. You know? And she doesn't have friends. She doesn't have friends. Even said, on the other hand, research has it that a lot of women also abuse men manipulatively. Yes, these things are both men and women. That's what we are talking about. Both men and women. That's true. And you see that maybe this type of man was exhibiting this kind of traits in the relationship, but the woman is being blindfolded, thinking that, okay, when they enter into marriage, that this man is going to change. Marriage cannot change someone. Even you can pray all you want. That is the person's character. If God doesn't decide to change the person, you cannot change the person. And that leads me to another question that we have. We said, we often hear, I want to save my marriage. The question is, can one person save a marriage where two are involved? Let me hear your opinion about that. If you want to come up and speak, let me know. You can send me a request, please. You often hear women say, I want to save my marriage, because it's mostly from the women. I want to save my marriage. I want to save my marriage. How can you save a marriage that the other party doesn't want to save? Is it possible? Is it possible that one person can save a marriage where two people are involved? Let me hear your opinion. Yeah, can say in my opinion, it is insecurity that leads to one stalking his wife. That's true. Insecurity. Some of these men, they are insecure. Yeah, they think that another man is eyeing their wife. Yeah. So they have to monitor every movement. This is an interactive session. If you want to come up live and speak, because we are all learning, we are trying to share this awareness so that a lot of people will, their eyes will be opened, you know. Let's stop this untimely death and abuse. Yeah, thank you. Mr. Ken, yeah, you can talk.
Yeah, talk about trying to save your marriage. Yeah, like you said, majority of the time we hear this coming from the women.
Mm-hmm.
I want to save my marriage. What will be of my children when I leave this marriage? What will be of their fates? You know, but it is very clear, even in scriptures, Amos 3:3, can two work together except they be agree?
Yeah.
The two of you have to agree to save the marriage. It is not a one person responsibility to save a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Before the contract was signed, marriage is a contract.
Yes.
Before the contract was signed, both parties agreed. There was an agreement
Mm-hmm.
to lead that marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not in the process of the marriage that one person is pulling off and you are saying you want to save marriage. Question: who empower you to save a marriage?
Maybe God now.
That is not the contract, even from scriptures. That is not it. A singular person cannot save a marriage. Now, if you are trying to save the marriage, you have empowered the other party to continue to manipulate you and, if possible, deal with you more.
I like that.
If we have a case of physical abuse, you will be abused the more. For example, if you have been abused 20% and you have every possibility, every reason to leave or to have a safe space, like I call it, not divorce now, but a safe space for you to, to be able to defend and protect your own life first, which is paramount. Defending yourself and protecting your life, but you insisted on staying in that place. You want to be the defender of the marriage. Then that abuse will rise to 50, if not 80. That is the simple truth.
That's the truth. Yeah.
No man has, or no singular person has the power to save a marriage. It has to be from both parties. That is my submission on this matter. It has to be from both parties.
Thank you for that. Yes, you said when the one party is trying to save the marriage, you're empowering the other party to abuse you the more. That's very, very powerful. I love that. You're trying to tell the person, please abuse me the more. Sometimes these men are telling you that they don't even want you. They are telling you by their actions. Because when someone is abusing you verbally, emotionally, sexually, physically, they are telling you, I don't want you in my life. They are telling you, I don't want you. But then you're still saying, I want to save the marriage, I want to save the marriage. You love the marriage more than the man do, or more than the woman does. It doesn't really make sense. I don't understand. Hi. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I've been on transit and I couldn't join immediately.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And my
Hope you're home now.
Not really. I had to park somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. I don't know what we are talking right away, but I understand the topic is on abusive relationship,
Yes.
right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I have one or two stuff to drop.
Okay.
Abusive relationship are emanated from three sources. I can say from religion, from society, and from foundation, right? So of
Mm.
course now, I mean, why people still stay in marriage or in abusive relationship or an abusive marriage? What happened? They look at what would the society say. Do you get what would the religion say? From the foundation too. You know, when you are in an abusive relationship, it doesn't just come on its own. Either you inherited it, I mean, from foundation, or you are considering what will happen if you go back. Okay, God
Mm.
said that marriage is for better, for worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the better for worse, that worse is not the one you inflict by yourself or your partner
Mm.
inflict.
Mm.
It's the one from maybe circumstances, you lost your job, in the course of the marriage, there is sickness in the marriage and all that. Not when your partner is inflicting pain on you and you're keeping quiet. The one of foundation, you perhaps was in a abusive relationship and you're bringing the same stuff into a new relationship, and the guy or the woman is not comforting you immediately. I think the one of the challenges is not being proactive. You saw something, Ojuksu said, you saw something in a relationship and you think it will change in marriage. I think it's impossible. So you have to
Mm.
be proactive. When you see something, this guy is doing this guy is attempting to slap me, this woman is being manipulative, and you're not correcting it. You're thinking perhaps when we get married, we'll get to understand each other. And again, you know what they say, when something is done repeatedly, it becomes a tradition. So when the
Mm.
person does it
Mm.
in the first instance, does it again, and you accept it because of love, you know, sometimes we accept rubbish because of love. Do you get? So that means you are kind of accepting abuse in your relationship or in your marriage. Do you get? So again, the society or the religion, something is not working, and God has given you the insight, the wisdom to know how to handle it. But you're considering what would the society say. You're considering what will my church say. I'm a minister. I'm this. I'm that, and I can't just leave a marriage because people are looking up to me. But you know that this is could be the only solution to their abuse.
Mm.
So yes, that's what I think I can contribute because I'm not
Yeah,
a
thank you
student.
very much. So that's very, very like powerful. There are two things that I love here you said, because I have that question. We are almost coming to that question. You know, when you go to the altar for marriage, they say you make a vow for better, for worse. So I was the next question was actually, is it that these people understand their marital vow? Because you know, once you enter the marriage, it's assumed that you can't come out again, and divorce is bad. God hates divorce. He said it clearly with his mouth. So every other amendment we did, human being did those ones. That was what he said. So does it mean that these ladies or these men that are passing through abuse, they're allowing their spouses to abuse them? Does it mean that they really understand their vow? Does it mean that they really understand that for better, for worse, you know? Anything he does, take it. You've made that vow, you don't want to break it. Does it mean that they don't want to break their vow? They understood it so well. So what do you think? Because you have a very clear point on that aspect.
I think they are taking the vow into extreme, where they think that the worst they made vow for was from if the worst is coming from individual. The worst is circumstances, as I said earlier. It could be the man or the woman lost his or her job. It could be the woman, you know, happens to not be fertile for a certain time. Do you get? These are those circumstances that no one can, so to speak, can handle it. It happens in the marriage, do you get? But a situation where the worst is coming from you or coming from me, do you get? It's self-inflicted. It can be resolved, and if it cannot be resolved, how do I say it? That's why they say it in marriage, that if this worst is coming up, that means the vow doesn't account for self-worth. Do you get? The vow does not accommodate worst coming from self-infliction. There's always a clause, so to speak. There's better for worse, but that worse is not when you're beating me, it's not when you're abusing me, it's not when you're manipulating me. This is not what I vowed for. I vowed for worse that it cannot be handled. It's not coming from me.
Yes, Sister can say from outside factors. That's very true. Yes. Yes, not the one within that we inflict on ourselves. Thank you very much. So you continue your drive, okay? God bless you.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love this. It says the worst is not the one that you inflict yourself. It's from the outside factors. Let me read the comments here. I love this.
What do I believe?
Here, Sister, yeah, I said both must walk in pari passu. Yes, that's true. And Ken said for better for worse is before. I don't think they said that again. Yeah, because I was coming to say that, like, when we go to the altar, please, though, we should ask these men of God. They should explain this words, please. They should explain it for us so that we understand what we are vouching for. Because this our church mind cannot carry it. Sometimes say, oh, I don't want to sin against God. I made this vow. Please, they should be explaining it. If you go to the altar, those that are yet to be married, though, please, though, when they read that, please tell them, what do you mean? Explain the words for me so that I understand. So you know what you're signing for. If you don't agree to that one, like I did in my own time, I said, I don't agree for sickness. So. Yes, we need that, please. We need to be verbal about these things when they are trying to make you vow for what you clearly know that is not right for you. Please tell them, explain, no. Explain. Let me know what I'm signing in for. Yeah. So here it said, Sister Kwan said the words comes from outside factor, not within. Sister Mickey said, for better for worse in marriage vows is a challenge that comes from outside marriage, not from the marriage. Sister Kwan says one must read the Bible with the Holy Spirit for wisdom and revelation. Please read the Bible plainly. People read the Bible plainly, yes. Ken said before you get to the altar, ask during the counseling section. Exactly. We should read the Bible with the Holy Spirit, because these doctrines, there are several doctrines that are deceiving now. You don't even know if it's God. They really hate God for the crowd, because there's the difference in that you hate God for yourself and you hate God for the crowd. It's two different things, because someone might be having, let's say, for example, in the case of dressing, God might tell someone, see, don't wear trousers. It might tell you, your hair, please be tying it, be wrapping it. Let no air enter it. And now, someone that God has said that personally to will now come out openly and said, God said, nobody should wear trousers again. Nobody should have their head open morning to night. And that becomes a doctrine. God was saying that specifically for you. If you read the book of, I think Samuel, where God was telling Samson's mom, before his conception, he said that razor shouldn't go on his head. That means that Samson carried a very long hair. So if Samson's mom was maybe like a GO, she will not tell the whole world that God said, don't shave your hair. Men, don't shave your hair. So that's what's going on in today. in today's religion. They will hear something for themselves and then they will translate it to everybody. So we should really understand and read the Bible with the understanding of the Holy Spirit. It's very, very important so that we know what we are doing in the marriage. Because sometimes we choose for ourselves. God has given us the choice to choose. And when you're not being patient for God to give you your own spouse and you go ahead, that relationship or marriage, it might work or it might not work. And when it's not working, don't try to save it all by yourself. You are two in the marriage. It takes two to tango. It takes two to solve a problem when two people are involved. Because you can be trying to save it and the other person, yes, Judges, okay, thank you so much, Judges 16:17. You might be trying to save it and the other person doesn't want to save it. You see, you're wasting your energy. The best thing is just leave. That's just the truth. The best thing is leave. If these things were really happening in the times of Paul would have made an amendment. He would have said verbally, plainly, if you're passing through toxic relationship abuse, please, waka or leave for your own self, for your own life. You can only be alive to amend something. When you are dead, we don't know. This earth is the only guaranteed one we know. The other ones they are saying after life, we don't know. We are not sure of it. We are not sure of. So please don't allow someone to come and kill you before your time. There are so many people that are tied to your destiny. What I was asking myself was, Minister Tinachina that just passed away, because I was just seeing whenever she ministers, deliverances, healing, of course. I'm like, now that she's gone, all these people that are tied to her destiny, what will now happen to them now? What will happen? So those people will now be left helpless because God has tied a lot of people to our destiny. There are generations that are tied to you. And whatever you're doing, there are people looking up to you. There are people learning from you that you don't even know from afar. People are looking up to you, learning from you. And then when you mess up, or when you eventually allow someone to kill you and dim your light, what are those sheep going to do? They'll be left without a shepherd. Please, when we make decisions, let's put other people in view. Because sometimes they say, oh, they're staying there because of their children. Okay, now that you're dead, who will not take care of the children? Do you not know how the children are doing? Do you know how they're faring? Do you know how that man is treating them? So you have to be alive first. Take care of your children. Take them to a secured place. Be alive first. And then we'll talk about the rest. We'll not know whether separation is bad or not. God will help us to define that. But you have to be alive first. So another question that we have here is, how do you leave a toxic relationship? Someone that wants to leave, how is the person supposed to live? Because let's say this person has been so manipulated and brainwashed. The person doesn't even know their left from right, because that's what these men do. That's what these women, some of them do. When they are too controlling, they brainwash you. They use the Bible to wash your head. Like you don't know your right from your left anymore. Whatever you do, you're confused. So what are you going to do? The person that actually wants to leave, how is the person going to live? How will the person leave that toxic relationship or marriage? Please, if you want to say something, we are learning today together, please, you can send me a request. Please. I love the interactive session we are having today. It's very educative. How does this person leave that toxic relationship? The person now understands that I'm in a toxic relationship and I need help. I need to leave. I need to separate for a while. Even if you are not going to get divorced, how are you going to live? He said, we need to understand that abuse does not just start as an adult. It starts from small. Example, when a brother beats up his sister and mom looks away, she just looked away from abuse and the child care. Okay. Yeah, so it starts from small. It starts from small. I agree with that. Because when you overlook certain behavior that the child exhibits, the person will take that and think that that's the right thing to do. And you will eventually grow up with that. You see them fighting among friends, fighting sisters and brothers. and nobody is talking about it. The person eventually gets married, and you're seeing monsters. You're breeding monsters, vampires. You know what I call these men now? Vampires. What I call some of these women, because there are so many women that kill men, no, in marriage. There are so many of the women that kill the man. These people are vampires, blood-sucking demons. I don't know where they're coming from. And it's so sad that they are not meeting their equals. Someone that is equal to their task. You know, it's so unfortunate that they are meeting the women or men that are so powerless that they just see their blood and suck it. And remember what the Bible said in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. It says, we should be alert, be on guard, be on watch, be vigilant, because your enemy, the devil, is roaring about like a roaring lion, looking for whom to devour. These are vampires in human nature. There are some men and women that the enemy launched from the marine world, from the kingdom of darkness, because they have seen your life. You know, when Jesus was born, even devil saw his life and wanted to kill him. Devil in human nature. Someone will say, oh, no, that's the human being. That's the clear devil that wants to dim a life. He killed every children just to get one. Imagine. So there are people that are launched, there are spouses that are launched from the kingdom of darkness after you. That's why when you are entering relationship or marriage, don't enter it with physical eyes. You must soak yourself, be praying, be prayerful, because you don't know, you might not know what to carry, but these people, they know. They know what to carry. And they come looking so subtle and nice. And they're too good to be true. You don't know that they're after your destiny. They're after your blood to suck you dry. God will help us. So here, how to live, I said that you must set a break time. You must set a time you want to break away. There must be a goal. Write it out. Okay, so time I must leave. So you start your planning. Because if, for example, your husband or your wife is financially abusing you, all the money you make, the person takes it, leaving you with nothing. Then it's going to be hard for you to break away, because where are you going to start? Where will you start from? So that's why you need to set a set time for you to break away, and then start making your plans. After you leave, what are you going to do? How are you going to sustain yourself? Sister Mickey said you can judicially separate according to law. It's just for a period of time, and also one can involve his or her pastor, who can help the victim stay in church custody while things are sorted out. Yes, thank you, Sister Mickey. She's a barrister, and she's really talking from the facts of law. And she said judicially can separate, because a lot of people don't even know that you can separate according to law. So thank you for this awareness. Yes, you can separate according to law, and then for a temporary time, when the person's head now comes down, you can come back. It's better when the person knows your self-worth. Now you can come back into the marriage for your own good, for your own sanity, for your own children's sake. It is very, very important. And Sister Mickey said again, another thing is most victims don't even have a place to go. I think that's where church can be of help. Yes, that's where church can be of help. And then another thing is some churches, they are not even helping out. Because you see someone going through abuse, they'll come and tell their pastor, they'll tell them to go and be praying. They should stay there and be praying. So I think churches need to review their doctrines, their rules, and everything, so that they can help a lot of these women, a lot of these men to get to a safe place. And if you have a very good pastor, that's a very good advantage for you. Or you have a good counselor, a good friend you can run to. Tell them about the things that are happening. And in case you want to stay, you have to be alert. You have to be vigilant, just like in 1 Peter where we quoted. You have to be vigilant, be on the watch. Set cameras to have evidence. You need to have evidence. Because how are you going to go to a court of law with no evidence? So you must tell people around, people that are passing through, have chat evidence, things that you have in case anything happens to you, in case you want to stay. Thank you very much. I think we'll continue this in another section. I really appreciate you all for joining and making this so lovely. Sister Khan says, this is why I encourage all women to have their own money. It is very, very true. It's very, very true. Have your own money. From that little you are earning, be saving. Be saving. It's good. Because even in marriage, even if your husband, you're submitting your finances and everything to your husband, it is still good to have your own money. The little that your husband is even giving you, save it. And it's not totally good for a man to leave the wife with no money. Because in case of emergency, what's she going to do? So it's still good and advisable for spouses to leave their wife with some cash in case of emergency. Yes, there is financial abuse. Yes, there is. I think we touched a little bit of that where we said that some women, they make money and then the man takes the whole thing and leaves them with nothing or little. Or sometimes they become a housewife and then the man doesn't give them anything. They tell them you're just sitting at home and you're doing nothing. So why am I going to leave you with money? Everything you need, I'm providing it. You know? And I think it was Kenya or Uganda that made that law where they pay housewives. So that's a very good thing. I think they should put all these small things into law, you know? When someone is being abused like this, this is the punishment. So that these people, they will stop this. It's too much. They are taking away so many lives from us, so many potentials from us, and it's not really good. People are hurting every day because that person you're taking their life from, you didn't create it. That person is someone's sister, someone's brother, someone's child, and all because in the name of marriage. If you don't want the person, please package the person and go and take the person to their family house. Please wrap the person as a gift. Take them back to where you pick them from. If they refuse to leave, please, it's better than you kill the person. It is better. Kenya said, it's not out of place for the man to also submit to the wife too, especially financially and morally. Yes, men to submit financially. You have to submit financially to your wife to give accounts also. Because some men, because of this submissiveness, they are the head, and then they think that they do things like they have to do things without the woman's knowledge. They know everything. It's very good that when you get your salary, tell the wife, look, they have paid me a salary. How are you going to distribute it? How are you going to use it? There's some going into and all that. Yes, it's very, very important that men also submit to their wife, morally and financially. In totality, both of them should be submitting to each other. And the marriage works best that way. Marriage is a good thing. It's very, very enjoyable. We're the one complicating things for ourselves. God has made it so beautiful and so good that two people that understand each other can actually make marriage work and enjoyable. Okay, thank you all. We'll be ending this session here. God bless you, and please in our next live tell somebody about this, share to your friends, because this is very educative. If we can educate, even if it's 10 and those 10 replicate to another 10 and this keeps going on, a lot of abuse will stop. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for this awareness. Thank you for the knowledge we gained today. God bless you. Please like and share and comment. Any topic you want us to talk about next time, please let us know. And God bless you. Have a beautiful day, you all. God bless you. Bye-bye.